Mary Thompson only wanted a cup of plain black coffee, the kind she used to sip while reviewing maps in dusty outposts half a world away. She stood patiently at the counter of a trendy cafe in the city, unnoticed except for her trembling hands and weathered appearance. The young barista behind the counter smirked, called her Granny, and told her to hurry up. Mary didn't respond with anger or indignation. She simply nodded, dropped a few coins that scattered on the floor, gathered them slowly, and walked out with quiet grace, her dignity fully intact. What that barista didn't know, and never bothered to ask, was that the small, unassuming metal pinned to Mary's jacket told a story longer and deeper than he could imagine. And what neither of the two baristas expected was that within the hour, the past would walk right back through that door. The cafe, nestled in a bustling part of town, was a favorite of students and creatives. Its exposed brick walls held paintings by local artists, and pastries lined the glass cases in pastel perfection. The baristas ran the shop with minimal effort, more engaged in their phones than in their customers. When Mary had entered at 9:15 a.m., she didn't command attention, but she altered the atmosphere. Her gait was slow, a slight limp tracing each step, her beret faded, her boots scuffed. She asked for coffee. Nothing fancy, just black. You want an espresso? Americano? Latte? Asked one barista with a forced smile. Just coffee, Mary replied softly. Filter coffee, if possible. The other barista snorted. Granny, this isn't some diner. We serve specialty coffee. Mary adjusted her jacket. Americano. No milk, no sugar. Fine, said the first barista, irritated. But hurry up. We got a line. There was no line. Mary tried to pay in cash, but her hands weren't steady. Coins fell. The baristas sighed and laughed. One suggested she should stay home and drink tea. Mary simply said, I understand, and walked out. No shouting, no complaints, just silence, and the faint jingle of the doorbell as she exited. What the baristas didn't notice was the woman sitting in the corner. Dressed in athletic gear, cap pulled low, she quietly watched everything unfold. She waited until Mary was out of sight, then stepped outside and made a call. Just 3 words. She was here. Cool me. By 10:15 a.m., 3 matte black SUVs arrived and parked in front of the cafe. Their engines idled. People passing by slowed, sensing something unusual. Inside, the baristas continued laughing, scrolling through videos, unaware of the shift in the air. Then the door opened. 10 people entered one by one. Their presence was unmistakable. Some wore civilian clothes, others were uniforms. But all carried the same unmistakable aura, discipline, strength, and silent command. They didn't speak. They didn't rush. They simply moved together and formed a quiet semicircle in front of the counter. Welcome, the younger barista said with false cheer, then froze. The lead figure stepped forward. A tall woman with a square jaw, gray-streaked hair, and a row of medals that said more than words ever could. 1 hour ago, she began, a soldier entered this cafe. She asked for coffee. You gave her contempt. She placed a scorched military insignia on the counter. I took this off my uniform after she carried me out of enemy fire. 18 hours, she walked with a hole in her side. No radio. No help. She saved my life, and she never asked for anything. But when she came here today, she was mocked. Another woman stepped forward and placed a photo on the glass. 8 women in combat gear, arms slung around each other, faces dusty but smiling. The one in the middle was Mary, young, strong, fearless. "We didn't come for revenge," said the commander, "but she won't speak for herself. So we came to speak for her." They left as silently as they had entered. The baristas stood in stunned silence. The café, once filled with music and idle chatter, now felt like a shrine. Within hours, the image of the 10 soldiers went viral, shared in veteran forums with a single caption: "When you disrespect one of us, we all stand." Mary's name soon surfaced. Lieutenant Colonel Mary Elizabeth Thompson, Academy graduate, decorated in Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia. 3 Bronze Stars, a Silver Star, Purple Heart, no memoirs, no interviews, just quiet service. The cafe was never the same. A framed copy of the photograph hung above the counter. Customers came not just for coffee, but to pay respect. A note beneath the frame read, "For the woman we didn't recognize and the sisters who made sure we never forget." Mary, however, never returned. Instead, she continued her daily routine, quiet walks, morning coffee at a small corner diner. She never spoke of what happened. Not to the waitress, not to fellow veterans who occasionally nodded in recognition. But people noticed. She received thank you notes. Local schools requested her to speak. She never accepted, but sometimes anonymous letters arrived in reply. They spoke of old missions and signed, with nothing but map coordinates and names. Weeks later, her team visited again, this time to her diner. One by one, they entered, standing silently beside her table. The youngest among them spoke. "Commander, with your permission, may we join you?" She nodded. They sat together. No words, just presence. The cafe's owners attempted to make amends. They offered apologies, free coffee, public statements. Mary never responded. One of the baristas quit under the pressure. The other, Kevin, changed. He began treating every customer with the respect he once failed to show. A month after the incident, he visited the diner as a customer. Clutching a letter, he approached Mary's table. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was wrong." She looked at him carefully. "What's your name?" "Kevin." "You're young." "I made mistakes too, but I had people to guide me. You have that choice now. How do I make it right?" "You don't make it right with me," she replied. "You make it right with the next person who needs kindness." She stood to leave, placed a hand on his shoulder. "Thank you for staying. It's easy to run, harder to face it." As she walked away, Kevin watched, understanding for the first time that true strength isn't in medals or commands. It's in how you treat those the world overlooks. Mary Thompson didn't need validation. Her community found her, and in recognizing her, they learned to see themselves. Because when silence speaks, the wise listen. Like and subscribe.